What's up, YouTube? God4Man221 here, and welcome back to Code of Heroes 2 Online Replay Season 3. As you can see, my guy is kind of glitched there on the headquarters, so I had to pull back and get him out that way. So City 17, a classic map in a Company of Heroes 2. We're going up against 2 Russian players on this side. In fact, all Russian players. 4 Russian players against 3 Wehrmacht, and I am the OKW. I am the Western Army standout player here. Just because I have a different army than they do. So, with OKW, I'll be a little more flexible than the standard Wehrmacht. One thing I think that's a big strength of the OKW is, frankly, their infantry. They have extremely strong infantry at higher levels, whether it be Oversodan, the Fallschirmjägers, or even... where is it? Yeah, pretty much, that's it. The Storm Pioneers are also very good if you use them correctly. Once again, you have to use infantry correctly, or they will get shot up by tons of conscripts. And speaking of conscripts, here come the Ruskies. They're going to come. So I'm basically going to be fighting for this hill here. And I got to figure out where to put my truck. So that will be the interesting part. So I'm going to put my truck right along here, at least for now. I'm going to obviously wait. I want to get more units out to help me out. And I'm going to put down some sandbags to give my men some cover. And these guys are also in cover here. They do have the MP44s looking pretty good. And you can see my ally actually, the green player, is not heading towards the field, which kind of surprised me. And I have a Kugelwagen out. I'm trying to stall them on the field. Usually on this map, 2 players go on this side to get the field on the hill, and then 2 players on this side. So my allies are doing that correctly, working together. But I'm kind of on my own at this point, early on. So that is not good. But he's sending some troops to assist me, so that's important. He is a max level player. And look at these conscripts trying to shoot at my Kugelwagen. What's really annoying is when people use the Kugelwagen with these Storm Pioneers. And that is quite deadly because these guys can just keep repairing the Kugelwagen. And you can see these guys are going to get slaughtered by my guys here. He does not care he's going to lose that whole squad. And they literally barely got away from that. And by barely, I mean they really barely did. And I saw these guys flanking around the hill, so I managed to push them off there. Yeah, they did get mines down there, though, which is unfortunate. But yeah, the Russians almost losing men. I'm getting pushed off the hill because I had nothing to defend the hill because I had to push on down. Second Storm Pioneer, I need to be able to counter these conscripts. And I'm pulling back a little bit. I realize I need to attack with higher numbers here. I can't win this fight when they're in heavy cover like that. But I will suppress them and start repairing quickly with my Storm Pioneers here. And our Grenadiers are forced back on this side. And on this side you can see my allies are pushing back the Russians. They're initially pushing back, the Russians are pulling up a mortar here. Fighting's going on in the center, the orange player and the green player. These guys are trying to flank around, and they're not going to have fun running into my OKW Storm Pioneers. These guys are great troops against conscripts at close range. And look at all these guys. I'm like, okay, I'll shoot, but I gotta make sure that I keep my Storm Pioneers alive here. It's a lot of fire that's coming at them. They're throwing Molotovs, so I gotta fall back there. I misclicked by accident, and both my guys left it, so I retreated there with both my units, so that's really not good. But I did wipe out the penal squad to the last man there, so it's another squad wiped out at this point. I can also get MG34s at this point. And I'm pushing back a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to build a headquarters. If I built one up here, that would have been kind of a waste. I think I'm going to build some like right along this area here. So these guys cost a lot. Let's just keep that in mind. They're 40 manpower to replenish, to reinforce. So that could set you back if you become reckless with these Storm Pioneers. Anyway, my ally is taking the center here, and we are still a lot of heavy fighting here. They're launching the artillery barrages against the flamethrowers, and they managed to wipe out those guys. So a little bit of a mortar barrage going back and forth. The German mortars generally can kill Soviet mortars, unless Soviet mortars are a veteran. And we're talking about the basic 82mm versus the, I believe it's, what is it, the 34, yeah, the 8cm versus 82mm. Anyway, I set up my little headquarters over here so I can start healing my men up. And look at the audacity of this guy pushing all the way up to here. I think it's funny how he thinks I'm kind of beat. So I'm just gonna push on in and try to wipe out a conscript squad. And yeah, that's gonna kill at least a couple guys here. So he didn't manage to capture it. So I'm gonna make sure my guys are all healed up at their full combat strength. And I'm gonna put my MG42 along here. He is laying mines around, so I gotta be careful about that. But yeah, a lot of mortar fire going back and forth. These guys are vet ones, who's got to be careful about that. They do have precision strike. Anyway, I pushed up with the MG34 and the Kubelwagen, and I'm going to start taking back my point here. We are winning right now with 2 victory points, so we're going to make it 3 here. And the green player is trying to help me with fuel. We already have the fuel on the other side of the map, so that's pretty good. These guys are on the hill here. They're getting suppressed. And yeah, these guys are coming after me. 2 conscript squads. And they're getting pinned to the ground. Really, all this guy is making are conscripts. He does have a... He's going to grab a machine gun now, it looks like. Oh, an artillery gun. Alright. An just an anti-tank on a field gun. Pushing those guys back there. He's probably going to try to take out my Kubelwagen with that. Throw him into some kind of a trap. I did take some casualties with my Storm Pioneers here, but that's okay. They got hit by the mine back there, so I have now minesweepers out for these guys, making sure the enemy's not going to surprise with any more hidden mines around, like one's right there. But you can see they are losing a lot of troops. The conscripts, you know, they're losing squads here. They're barely coming back alive, these conscripts. No upgrades on them whatsoever. Let's go take a look at 3 Spaces Doctrine here. He hasn't picked a doctrine, okay. And at this point, very early on, my ally drops. So officially, we have the Cyan player out. So that is very bad for our alliance at this point. So I'm going to reinforce the steel barricade here. I'm going to put some of that down. It cannot be cut by infantry, so that's really good about it. It takes longer to lay, but it also can be run over, so you got to keep that in mind. By heavier tracked vehicles, do not think lighter vehicles like a scout car could obviously run this over. So I'm kind of saying more defensive positions. You know, we have both fuels at this point, and we're starting to lose this sector here. I mean, they're not reinforcing their mortars, which is surprising. And then we have a massive flanking force coming around this side here. I'm putting wire here also. I'm trying to really make it hard for them to flank me on this hill. I want them to do a frontal attack. So I see this and I'm like, that is not good. So I'm going to pop out Fallschirmjäger from this house and just start shooting into these guys. Now these guys are even more expensive. They're about 47 manpower. So we're in cover shooting at the back of the Russians here. And he's going to get wide and start realizing that his men are in the open, and he's going to come charging with his superior numbers here. So we're really going to try to hold these guys out with their FG-42s. Yeah, I knew they were going to throw a Molotov at me, so I'm going to kind of fall back here. Now, it's important for me to get over the fence and retreat versus having to run all the way around. So I'm going to hop over the fence here and then call retreat. That way my men are not going to... first of all, they're still pursuing me. I got a little lucky there. That way, my men were not going to run around the fence and get killed that way. Anyway, I'm going to try to get a Panther out, so with the extra fuel, that's pretty good for us. I'm not really making Oversedan too much anymore. I'm really relying on Fallschirmjägers and Storm Pioneers as my core. But you can see these guys are in the middle of the open. You know, you really should pull your guys back if they're down to 2 men with very little health like that, or something is going to happen. You will start losing squads like that. Nice rifle grenade would have been really good there too. But he's laying mines as he retreats, so that's pretty good. Anyway, after, you know, mortars falling down on us, we have to move on up here. I'm getting my guys repaired, and just a massive force comes in here. I'm in trouble if I'm in the open here, so I'm trying to suppress these guys. It's not working. They're pushing us back. Gotta stand here and fight. And the Kubelwagen and more troops are pushing up. You know, I'm barely holding this as it is. Molotovs are off right here. Just trying to get these guys out. So I did manage to save that Storm Pioneer squad, but we're pushing these guys back. I popped out Fallschirmjägers here to deal with these conscripts. They should win hands down. These are a very expensive unit against a very cheap unit. However, look at that guy run. That guy's screwed. So I just wiped out another squad. So I threw a Molotov and the mortar's still kind of after me. So I got to reinforce. I got to keep going back to my reinforcement point here and healing up. And I'm going to force his mortar back, which has a lot more kills than I'd like to admit. Anyway, the veteran infantry is starting to take its toll on the cheaper conscript units of the Russians here. You know, conscript Rams used to be really strong. Now, if you gave these guys PPSHs, I would be in trouble. If you have PPSHs and then you kind of get close quarters, yeah. And my mine didn't really do anything here. Maybe I should have placed it along here. I thought he'd probably try to, you know, sneak around at some point. Anyway, I do have 2 Fallschirmjäger squads that I have to retreat all the way back to base here. So I'm going to bring them up here to my forward headquarters here and start reinforcing troops. I really love Fallschirmjägers. It's probably my favorite OKW unit because they can hop out of buildings. They're very elite. They have the FG-42s, which you don't need to upgrade them. You don't have to pay money for that, which is awesome. Or pay money. You don't need to pay munitions for that, which is great. And they also, once they get higher veterancy, they can kind of hide when they're in cover, which is awesome. And they also heal themselves like other units. And then they, basically these guys are great against mass infantry. So I obviously went with this doctrine here. It's the Luftwaffe doctrine here. And this allows me to make trenches and defenses. Now, I've never really used the flak emplacement because it costs me fuel. Now, it doesn't cost me a lot of fuel, but I'm just going to start building some trenches, really try to, you know, capture this hill back again, make it so another assault like that happens, they're going to be in trouble. So I need some AT at this point. I realize I'm a little vulnerable, so I'm going to grab some AT here, because the T-34 could pop out, and I could be in a lot of trouble because I have none of that. But, you know, he's just building his headquarters now. That guy hasn't even started. Anyway, on this side, it's pretty hard with an AI there. For the player that's the yellow color here to push back, and he's getting doubled. So you can see the AI has snipers and stuff. Thankfully, we're holding this side, but you can see another massive flanking force, 4 conscripts. This kind of reminds me of like a little bit of like the Stalingrad missions of just mass conscripts coming. And same thing over here. We're gonna have another attack moving on in. So just a look at this attack. You can just see they're going straight through. They're just getting shot. Pretty bad, actually. Wow, they're throwing Molotovs up close, and he's going to lose some of those. He's probably going to lose that vet, too. Look, multiple Molotovs going off, and he managed to kill that squad. Now they're just going to mortar me, which is annoying. I'm going to get cocky here with my Kuwaga and just move it up. I also have an AT, Rocket Warfare here. He should really build like a bunker. I guess he built one here, and then they came around the other side. So he's retreating with units. And if he comes to try to flank around me, I have this guarding that area. So I decided to push up, and I got destroyed by that guy who's behind heavy cover, even though these guys are automatically granted heavy cover bonus from the front. And I saw this conscript here, and I wasn't too concerned with them. I kind of forgot about this guy, this unit here. But yeah, one of the great things is you can actually activate and, you know, take away your monsters and use them when you need them. So I'm really ready right here. You know, I have the ATs all set up. Like, this is a pretty strong position right here. I have my Fallschirmjägers and an MG. So they're starting to shoot at us. And you can see, just look at those guys just get shredded. I figured, you know, my guys would be able to wipe them out, but you'd have the Fallschirmjägers finish the job here. I'm going to push up. You can see how quickly these guys are just going. Look at their health. Just, you know, you have 8 of these Fallschirmjägers, and then we have the conscripts. I'm going to start targeting them. They're going to want to fall back here, and we have... Look at that. I'm just going to keep pushing forward and avoid the rockets there, but they're even shooting rockets at me with the Katusha. Now, I'm being careful with my Fallschirmjägers. I don't want to lose any of them. These guys are pretty low here, so I pull back... meant to pull back 1, I think, at that point. So I'm having a little trouble with my misclicks. So I'm like highlighting 2 of the same units and then retreating both of them. But you can see lots of, you know, these armies are failing here at this point. We're still holding the field pretty easily. And on this side, you know, he's doing his best against superior enemy positions right now. Well, actually, he could probably... Yeah, he says Panzer IV, and he could do some real damage with that. But I brought some Fallschirmjägers over here. I was trying to maybe finish off some enemy units. What I'm really doing is I'm looking for that Katusha, right? So I have these guys like behind enemy lines here. I'm gonna try to kill it. I didn't think it would be right here, actually. I thought it'd be like somewhere along the road here. I just hop in the house here, and we're definitely gonna win this fight. Until he starts mortaring me, so I gotta pull out of there soon. But now I have 3 Fallschirmjäger squads. The others are back at base, currently getting refitted, or they will be soon. Yeah, they're going back up to base. And I'm still looking for this Katusha. And I force them back, and then I hop out of the house. So I managed to do some more damage to these guys. But the Fallschirmjägers, they're just like the best anti-infantry unit the OKW have, in my opinion. The Obersadon are good, but you have to equip them with light machine guns. They changed that in the patch notes a while ago. You can see they're pushing in, and at some point one of their guys is going to rage quit here in this match. But you can see just the artillery the Russians are shooting at against these guys here. Look at that, boom. Anyway, this is a good job for this guy right here, if these infantry decide to clump up like that. And he's getting outflanked. Yeah, they must have. Do they have multiple hundred? Well, actually, it's 120mm mortar. So look at this, a lot of flames, just baking the Soviets with flamethrowers and flame-mounted units here. You don't really see players just use a lot of flamethrowers too frequently. Anyway, I'm just getting rid of this unit so I can get some more guys. Looking for that Katusha, just gonna get it wiped out on purpose. Because I was looking for this. I didn't think he knew I was behind his lines here, but I'm going to keep trying to hide, see if he dispatches you. Now he has PPSHs, so this makes his conscripts a hell of a lot more dangerous. Now they can kill me at close quarters pretty effectively, actually. Anyway, they're starting to move in a little bit. Pretty dangerous with the... well, that sucks, because he lost the half track there with the flames on it, but they're going to pin the enemies down to the ground, and he's going to take out... or attempt to take out that half track. Unfortunately, he's getting hit by that. Anyway, wow, look at that. It's like a D-Day with all the Russians crawling along the road here. It seems like, really seems like this guy put a bunch of bunkers down my ally, and the Russians just kept flanking him. Now I was like, he's going to lose his Panther here because lots of AT shooting at his rear armor. His engine has been damaged. I can't do anything. I can't even pop out some Fallschirmjägers to help him. I think he knows he's screwed here, and it's bad news for him. But he's probably going to lose his Panther at this point. He is actually definitely going to lose his Panther. So that's very unfortunate for him, because that's a valuable unit. Not as valuable for the OKW, because the OKW have fuel shortages after all, but yeah. Anyway, the Katusha's back. Well, 5 kills so far. And I could hear that. Like, you can, with the fog we're on, you can hear the enemy tanks moving. You can tell something's going on. And now I have my Panther. I was sending my Panther initially to try to help him out. They're bombing me, so I'm just moving around. Might actually, yeah, I'm going to launch an attack here. Anything I have, I'm sure I can, you know, take their infantry out, even if they are behind cover like that. Infantry's way superior to their infantry. So I'm moving. I do not think that he thought that I had a Panther at this point, but the AT is the first thing I took out here. Now I can start posting on the infantry. And this Katusha is going to be mine here. He stops, and I guess he didn't realize I was right there. And that's gone now. So I'm officially pushed in, wiping out conscripts left and right. Almost wiping out other conscript squads. So I pushed my guy back completely. I'm going to push on in and destroy this fuel cache here. Now he does have some other units that are kind of hiding, and do some Pinot troops moving into this sector here. But, you know, Pink has done kind of really flanked all the way around the map here, and I guess cut off our fuel supply there. But you can see purple and orange over here are doing a doing some real work, holding us off on that side. And then these guys come here, and I do not want to... Look how fast these guys are just going to get shredded. Veteran infantry just wiped those guys out. So I start to realize, like, hey, wait a second, that's an enemy gun. Now, I could salvage it, which I should have, but I just start shooting at it. Probably should have salvaged that. I'm going to salvage my own machine gun back here. Then I have my guys start shooting at it, which isn't going to do anything to it. I just want to make sure this AT gun is gone so he can't recruit with conscripts. Just so he doesn't shoot at me, you know, make him lose his complete investment here. And then these guys start popping up, so I start shooting at them as my tank should finish this guy off. You know, we're like wiping conscripts down to like 70% or about 60%, and they're just, yeah. Just don't mess with these guys, you know. When they become very veteran and you have conscripts, you know, 20 kills on this guy, 17 on this guy, and 8 on that. So, you know, just beware. And then I lost that guy because of the Katusha. And he has an Su-85 now with the... We had the competition between Company of Heroes and Total War Rome 2 about who would win, and the Company of Heroes 2 players played more hours or something like that and won that one. That was a while ago. And Green is starting out bad. He's trying to control the center here and covering my flanks quite well. If you notice, I haven't had any real flanking issues on the hill. You know, I've been forcing the enemy to attack me in the center here. So my ally's been doing a good job. He's definitely secured this area here. You know, there's multiple bunkers up now that don't cost him anything. There's 4 of them. And now his own, wow, look at that. He's retreating too after doing that damage. He's put a lot of S-mines around, which is good, you know, force the enemy not to be able to flank like that. And the enemy's starting to lose on this side. They're starting to lose some more ground here. But he just lost 2 Panthers, so I'm sorry, he lost 2 Panzer IV, so that's really bad. That was a human player on that side. And I don't know what this was. Maybe we wanted to get that destroyed or something, but I'm setting up multiple trenches here in front lines. Once again, I'm almost daring my opponent to charge me. Well, obviously not right now. You can see how my guys go invisible now. They go hidden when they are in some kind of cover. That's one reason I like these guys also. They also have the smoke grenade, which I never really use. Oh, it actually harms enemy units. Didn't know that. Hey, you know, you can play a game for years and still find something new. Like I was playing Fallout New Vegas the other day, and I found out some new things about Caesar's Legion I didn't know before. So now they're bombarding me, apparently, this house. They must think I have troops in there. They obviously can't see through fog of war. And it's funny, he decides, maybe I'll flank around this time instead of going straight down the road there. But I have mines, troops, and, you know, reinforced steel barricades there. I just got to be careful of a Katusha. And since I've destroyed that, there's no real threat. It's kind of funny. We have our infantry kind of lined up, ready to like go at it. And I'm going to push up with my tank here. And I see infantry start shooting away. Now my men are on the move shooting, so they're going to be a lot less accurate than if they're just standing still. I have no problem singling out a unit though and shredding them like this unit. So there goes another conscript wiped out. This is Su-85, so I gotta be a little careful of that. I'm gonna start engaging with these troops here. Start shooting at the Su-85 here. I gotta make sure I don't lose any of my troops. So I'm being a little cautious. I'm pulling back units. I'm not making the mistake I was making earlier by pulling back all the units at one time. And we're going and shredding. We're up to the veteran units first though here. So I'm just gonna have to pull back there. Unfortunately, I did lose a Fallschirmjäger squad, but I have a second Panther out here, and I popped another Fallschirmjäger out, so even though he killed that, he really doesn't stand a chance here, and he's getting suppressed. And I don't think he realized that I had a second Panther at this point. We're just like shooting at my guys, and we're in the trench here. Pretty cool. We're kind of hidden under that leaf there, so we're starting shooting at the Su-85. He's outnumbered. Even with that AT there, I can still take him out, so he's gone. I'm going to pull back now. And once these guys, I need to establish the front line here. Establish the retreat point at this area here. But my men are going to quickly move on up. And basically want to send him back in again. So this guy's getting decimated. The 3 spaces here. He's basically lost another tank here. And look, Su-85s came out here. I see my ally struggling a little bit, so I'm going to try to help him out. He should really blitz away from this conflict here. So I'm going to send my own tanks here to help, you know. My ally's done a great job of protecting my flanks throughout this whole match, so I'm going to help him out. You can see enemy tanks are behind the lines. Stug. That stands no chance against an ISU. I mean, IS-2. So I don't think he likes that I have tanks coming out, so I think he's going to try to pull back when he sees them. But it sucks when we hit this car here with our shell. We do have APs loaded, obviously. Surprisingly poor accuracy in my... This guy right here is... Oh, there you go, you hit him. So I figure if I can take out the T-34-85, that'd be pretty good to help out my ally. He's going to ram me. Now, he was going to lose his tank regardless. At least he did some damage and shocked me, so that was actually a good move by him. He knew he was going to die anyway, so you might as well do some damage. And I'm feeling very comfortable right now on this side of the map with my infantry I have moving up again. You know, these Fallschirmjägers are shredding the enemy conscripts. I'm going to pull my guys back to get a nice repair going on here. Unfortunately, what the Russians like to do is really like to mortar you. 11 kills on this mortar so far. They're just mortaring my static position, so I'm just going to move. Not that big a deal. So, I thought this was the, I was like, oh, that's the AI right there. But I do have my guys. Panthers obviously come first. I don't know how we got that Stug all the way from over here out of there. But yeah, going up against 2 machine guns in this house is not going to be good for that guy. Anyway, they're starting to break them. We do have a tank, a Tiger tank on this side. You know what's annoying? The enemy on this side, they took over my trench. Anyway, they can't see these guys, so now I'm going to start shooting. This is a good distance for us. You know, the conscripts are much better at closer range. They're throwing grenades at me, so I got to be careful. But I forced it back, and look at that. I almost got this whole squad wiped out by that mortar. So I'm trying to destroy my own trenches, so I got to be a little careful of that when the enemy occupies my own stuff. And look at that. More and more kills. They killed more of these veteran guys, so I got to pull these guys back. I'm going to keep pushing forward. I want to destroy this mortar if I can. I do have ATs up, though. Not too worried about the AT, just going to flank around. It's just one of them. And those guys retreated for some reason. I don't remember even clicking that order. Moving Su-85, moving up. Might have been fear propaganda or something. Anyway, these guys are going to hop into the trench again. So yeah, he's going to try to snipe at me. And I see that, so I'm going to need to pull back around here, and then I can, you know, outflank him. It gets to do line of sight, obviously. And that's a destroyed enemy plane that flew down there. Look at that damage he's doing. So I'm going to pull around this side. If he wants to pursue me and come, you know, if he wants to move his tank down here, I can outflank him there. Got my guys set up into positions. I can blitz and stuff. But he doesn't want to do that, obviously. And we have a little T-70. There was a guy quit. The purple player quit on that side. On this side of the purple. Pink? Pink, yeah. Pink quit. And they're still holding this side. Look at the ATs here. 7 infantry, 1 vehicle. But we've had this field the whole game, and now we have the other field, so we're just getting 25 fuel a minute, and for OKW, that's pretty darn good. So I have these guys here, and these guys are going to start moving up. So I'm keeping my infantry relatively alive at this point, which is good. We've definitely got more kills than the Russian. Let's go look at him. He's 53 to 105, and I'm 125 to 60. That mine only killed 1 guy. Man, I would have loved to, you know, build at this point, you know, the flak half track. I mean, the regiment headquarters, so then I could have gone to Stuasafus and just destroyed that mortar. I figure going closer to the Russian units would be good too. Throwing a bundle grenade right there. And wiped out those guys. They did kill one of my gun crews here. And guess what I brought? I decided to get an infantry support gun at this point. If I realized I had that on my show, I probably would have gone to Stuka Sufus. I'm going to start shooting back at this guy. I'm not going to be super accurate, right? If I'm going to start trying to wipe out this, at least have some return artillery back at these guys. But yeah, you know, Volshemir is going to win against Conscripts unless they use some of their dirty tactics like throwing Molotov cocktails at us. Ultimately, that really messed them up there, though. I'm throwing a bundle grenade in there. Frankly, if that trench will just die, that'd be great for me because the Russians just keep using it. That's their squad wiped out, so really, they're in trouble at this point. However, I'm getting killed by this guy. I'm moving around my infantry support gun. He's going to start capturing this territory. Tanks are all healed up and ready to go. Middle is secure. We're still fighting on this side. The IS-2 is really doing some damage to the fortified positions here in the houses. High explosive shell it shoots. Whatever shell it actually shoots, it does some definitely some explosive damage. And yep, I have these guys. Vet 3. 33 kills, 50 kills from between these. Actually, 60 kills between those two units there. And they wiped out my gun crew. Honestly, not a shocker. I think there's more conscripts. I mean, yeah, I wiped out all his infantry again. Besides those guys, I'm shooting at his, throwing grenades at this guy here. Didn't do a whole lot of damage. I see what he has here, so I'm gonna start pulling back and bringing up the Fallschirmjägers here. We're ready to do some damage. Once he moved up his AT gun here, he's in trouble there. I think he was maybe trying to, I don't know what he was doing there, but moving up an AT gun to capture territory is not very smart. So I'm gonna wipe out these conscripts here. And really just try to push in and take out this Su-85. They don't really have anything to stop me at this point here. And multiple conscripts just killed again. We now have 4 stars in this guy, 37 kills. This guy only has 3. Basically, all the units are just getting wiped out. I'm going after his Su-85 here. And literally, my opponent is going to have nothing left after I finish him off here. He has 1 conscript squad at this point. I've wiped out all his weapons, heavy weapons, his vehicles, his tanks. He's got nothing. Fortunately, on this side, we're getting completely pushed back. Our allies gone wiped out, but you know, green is coming to help out, which is good. You should really get these guys some Panzer Shreks there. So once again, yep, just wiping out conscript squads. No problem. 43 kills on this one unit. And look, I'm salvaging an enemy mortar. I don't want them getting this guy back, that's for sure. Not after what they did before. I think I also salvaged their AT gun back here. That's right, yep, I did. So yeah, my opponent is pretty screwed at this point. I don't think he really... Let's take us back on the fog war here. So basically, 3 spaces has 1,000 manpower though, which is pretty surprising. He's not building more stuff, getting... I don't know what he's saving up for. Maybe he wants to get an artillery gun or something, but he needs to make some units. Maybe he's given up at this point. But I got news for you. The conscripts are not going to work for you against the highly veteran infantry I have. They're down to 25 points at this point. And they're definitely not going to win. We're in cover here. Just watch these guys get shredded. Yep. So there goes more guys down. 34 kills, 45, and 11. So that's on this side to surrender. Good game to our opponents. They fought hard. They dominated this side of the map, basically because we had an AI. And we were able to dominate this side of the map. Green, I'll actually give you his name now. This guy, Green, Bo Mormon. was actually a great player to play with. He really covered my flank there the whole game. You can see his level there. It was max. Covered my flank the whole game, did a good job. Let me really focus on destroying the red player, and then really kind of cover the center, and even was on this side of the map helping out our allies, our ally that was fighting on his own, basically. So getting our opponents, hope you enjoyed this match. Leave some comments down below. COD Format 221, signing off.